Hey everybody, welcome back to the bench and to a brand new tutorial from me. Yep, we're going to make a sword, something I've going to be honest with you, I've avoided over the years. I really have, because my peers make swords, they do amazing jobs, and I've always like, you know what, I'll leave you guys to make swords as well. And I have followed a couple of sword tutorials, and it's one of those things where if you've done a tutorial, sometimes you can get stuck in a tutorial. I can imagine some of you can get stuck in my tutorials as well. So I kind of left it alone until I had that eureka moment when I could kind of build it out of my favorite techniques. And so it becomes a very lonely soldier sword. It becomes me. And it was while building that cuff, while I'm in the middle of doing that cuff and researching that cuff, I realized I could see the sword. It was there. And in my head, I made it there and then while building the cuff, and I was right, that's it, I can go do it. And obviously I wanted to share it with you guys straight away and get that tutorial out there, because it's not particularly too hard. I will say this, this is why I didn't put it as a basic skills video. It's just going to be a little tricky when you start. So I recommend you have the swear jar ready, because I definitely might need it as well. And I'll do my best not to swear on camera. It's just a little fiddly, but once you get going, it becomes really easy. It's like the cuff. It's exactly the same as that long cuff, no different, but we're just going to make it really small. We're going to get the hammers out, we're going to hammer some wire, and we're going to do a lot more molding and shaping as well, which is going to be really good for your skills, definitely. Right then, before we move on, I'd just like to say, if you're really enjoying these workshops and these free tutorials, maybe come on over to Patreon, join up with one of my tiers over there and become part of the Lonely Soldier Fan Club. Or you can just do a one-off donation if you want to and buy me a cup of coffee. All the links are in the description. Right then, so what are we doing today? Well, I've got 6 examples down here I've made in the week, and some of you have probably seen them already because I've probably released them as shorts because I was just too excited. I needed to get them out there because I was quite proud of these. Right then, let's have a look, Sarah. Let's get the overhead camera out and let's check it out. So here you go. This is kind of what we're up to today. So some of you might have already seen this one. This was the first one I posted. Yeah, quite a simple idea, really. It's just 3 base wires and a piece of twisted wire. Well, 2 base wires and a piece of twisted wire down through the middle. But it doesn't have to be twisted wire. I'll show you some examples of something else in the middle. Let me turn it over. And as you can see, it's just a figure of 8 weave, starting from this end. And we go all the way down. Do the handles, we wrap the handles, and we finish at the top here. And it's all with 1 piece of wire as well, and we can wrap off the roll. That's why I was really excited about doing this, because it's my favourite way of wrapping. But yeah, that was the first piece. And let me show you the second piece. So I decided this is perfect for hybrid, copper and sterling silver. And it's also perfect for using up bits and bobs at the bottom of the box. It really is, because we're not going to use a huge amount of wire here. But this was the second piece, so I did something slightly different as tape here. Just as you can see, got a few more weaves down here. Did more of a hybrid piece here with sterling on the outside and on the inside there. And also I changed the engineering slightly at the top here as well. So I decided, let me turn this over. I decided to, instead of cutting the wire off there at the handles and then using that center wire, the center there, to make the handle, I decided to keep that in and take these out and bring that little flourishing, bring that little bit of extra thing in there, and then make the outside wire come in and make the handle as well. So that was the next progression. Here it is again. Let me show you here. But this time I decided to use it with a bit of half round. I really love this piece. I really do like this. This really gets up my road. It's nice, sleek, it's sharp design. Yeah, I really like it. And I love this, using this little bit of half round wire. And again, at the top here, you can see where I slightly changed the design for the handle as well. So this is why we're going to get to the point of a tale of 2 swords, because I'm going to show you 2 ways of finishing the handle. Right, let me show you this one as well. So it didn't quite go right here. This is a mistake. I've got a mistake to show you, as you can see straight away just here. It went out. Something went wrong. Something didn't go quite the right point. But generally, I quite like it. And I was thinking of Conan the Barbarian when making this one. So this is like a broadsword. This one didn't quite go as well as I expected. So there we go. There's a second for you. So here you go. This is the actual design I'm going to show you. So we're going to make this one. Finalized. Just seen it earlier on. Slightly a bit different down the end here as well. Just only a little bit different. Just made it slightly a bit easier for you guys. But yeah, this is the design we're going to do. And also, here's the design, the other design we're going to do. So the difference is, let me hold both of these up at the same time. So the difference is the handle. Oh, there's the focus. There's the focus. It's just around here. I wanted to show you both ways of just finishing off just to give you something a bit different to do. And yeah, because I couldn't decide myself. I really like that one. I really like that one. I really like that one. Well, show them how to do both. There we go. Easy as. So it all starts off exactly the same way until we get to this point here. So I'll probably, you'll see in the tutorial as well. I'll be able to skip a bit on one of them. But yeah, only slightly changes at this point here. But yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. A Tale of Two Swords. Right, let's get some tools out and let's see what we're going to need to make these. For this tutorial, we're going to need our chain nose, flat nose, number one tools at our side at all time, flush cutters. You may need your heavy duty flush cutters as well, depending on how thick your wire. Bell pliers or round nose pliers. I'm going to be using a 3mm bell on the bell pliers, but you can easily substitute that and use your round nose pliers. Nylon jaw pliers, whenever you're working, it's probably the first tool you get out. Straighten your wire with it. Obviously, metal ruler, marker pen. You're going to want a pair of tweezers. We're going to be doing some weaving, and when it comes to weaving, I find tweezers really it's just such an important tool for me, and the first tool I will reach for. We're going to want some metal files today as well. We're going to be rounding the ends of our wire. We're going to be even making some points as well. So yeah, we're going to really want to be molding our wire. So we're definitely going to need our metal files out today. Now, this is a tool you may not need. You don't have to hammer. You can make this without hammering, but I highly recommend get the hammers out because it will make it look more like a sword and give you a flat edge for that shine when you polish as well. So you just want your chasing hammer, and you're going to want your rubber hammer as well, because when we get hammering later, you'll see it will go out of shape. So you're definitely going to need your rubber hammer as well. And obviously you're going to want a hammering block as well. So when it comes to wire gauges today, I'm going to recommend you use 3 different sizes, but obviously this is one of those projects where get the spare wire box out. This is one time to start digging through and using up odds and ends of wire, because we don't need much wire. So this would be a great time to just wing it and see what you got in your box and just put it together. But the 3 main sizes that I will be showing you today will be 18 gauge, which is 1mm, 20 gauge, which is 0.8mm, and for weaving and wrapping, I'm going to be using 0.3mm, which is 28 gauge. Or is it 30 gauge? I can't remember. Well, 30 gauge in European money, I think, and it's 28 gauge in American money. But either way, that's why I go with the millimeters, 0.3mm. Now, when it comes to the weaving and wrapping, I highly recommend you stay with the finer wires, purely because I know it will be doing a neater job. And this is quite small. It's not very big. This is no more than really just over 5 centimeters long we're going to make, or even smaller. I feel up to you. So this is the time I recommend the finer wrapping wires to use. Right then. Let's get started and let's make a sword. Right, to get started, let's start with some twisted wire. Okay, so the wire gauge I'm going to be using for making this, I'm going to use some 20 gauge, which is 0.8. But this is the time I recommend. Have a look through the spare wire box. See what you got lying around. You can change this gauge size. It doesn't have to be this. In fact, it looks better with slightly thicker, so even going with a bit of 18 gauge would work well. So we're going to want to cut this at 25 centimeters. And that's a little bit more than we actually need. But really, you want a minimum of about 20 centimeters. Take your wire, just fold it in half, like so. Then grab your flat nose pliers, just grip at one end and just turn it a couple of times just to help hold it together. Oh, look at that. It comes apart on me while I'm trying to show you something. Yeah, just a couple of turns. It just holds it together. Really started to twist. There we go. Now, this is something I forgot to say in Toolbox Talk. We're going to need a hand drill. Well, I'm going to use a hand drill to twist this. It saves a lot of time and effort, and just going to have a hook in the end of the hand drill. That's all you need. Do it. Grab your wire. Place the end, fold in half over your hook. Grab a pen. Your marker pen will do the job. And place it in the other end and just hold the wire down. It doesn't stab you. And then twist. How much you twist is up to you. And how far you go is up to you. Now, I'm not going to make it too tight, but make it tight enough to look good. There we go. I'm happy with that. Grab your hammering block and your chasing hammer. But before we do some hammering, let me quickly show you something, especially for you beginners and you found yourself here and you really haven't done much hammering before. So when it comes to hammering wire or any wire, you got a couple of choices what you want to do. So you can keep the hammer in one spot and move the wire down, or you move the hammer down the wire. But what you're looking to do when you're hammering any wire is you're looking to make sure you overlap like so. That's what you're looking to do. That means every part of the wire gets hammered. Looks easy like that, don't get me wrong. It takes a little bit of practice and a bit of, you need to keep doing something like this and you'll get better at it as well. But that's what you're aiming to do. Concentric circles overlap, and that means all the wire gets hammered. Now, how much you hammer is up to you. I'm going to be hammering until I see a nice hole in between the twisted wire. Once you're happy with it, use your rubber hammer to help straighten it out and get it flat again. Bend it on its side, just like that, and just gently tap it until you get it straight again. You probably could use your fingers as well, but I like to use the rubber hammer. Just helps loads. There we go. Pretty pleased with that. As you can see, I've got that nice pattern where I've got a nice hole in between, and it's twisted as well. Quite happy with that one. Right then, let's grab our flush cutters. Now, before you trim this, you need to decide which is the best bit, really. Because obviously, as you can see, even though I've hammered it and I've done my best, I've still got out. It's not been quite hammered perfectly here. And obviously at this end, it's not gone perfect. So choose your best rough 5 centimeters. That's what we're going to cut this down to. But first thing first, let's trim the point at the start. So when doing the point, I'm just going to follow the twist of the wire. See that? With my flush cutters, keeping it in line. Take that one up, turn it over, and do the same the other side. Now that gives me the point I'm looking for. Then grab my ruler. I'm just going to measure down 5 centimeters, as close to 5 centimeters as possible. So yeah, we'll take that twist there, that point there, and all I'm going to do is just cut straight across. Oh, sorry, in focus there. There we go. And I'm going to just cut straight across, nice straight line. Then grabbing my file, let's sit here and then shape this piece of wire. So just starting with the tip, I'm just going to get a nice point on it. My best filing tips: push forwards, not back and forwards like this. Push forwards. The reason being is the teeth on a file only go one way. If you go back and forwards like this, all you're doing is blunting the teeth on the file. But if you push down and push forwards, you'll get the job done a lot quicker. So just take that time, getting a point at one end, and then rounding the other end off as well. Yeah. Take that few minutes and get it right. Excellent. when you're happy with that, put that to one side, grab your ruler and your 20 gauge 0.08 mil. Now, again, this could be something you can find in the bottom of the box. We're going to want no more than 14 centimeters. This is probably about a little bit more than we need, but as I say, you can take away, but you can't add sometimes. So yeah, trim 14 centimeters of 20 gauge 0.8 mil and mark the center of it. Like so. Grabbing your flat nose pliers, place it on your center mark and bend round all the way, nice and tight. Even lean into your finger while you do it. There we go. Nice tight bend. That's what you're after. And take your pliers and close it up. Tight as you can. Grab your block and your hammer. And now we're looking to just hammer the very tip. Just a few mil. See that? Not too much. Just enough. Grab your flat nose pliers. Now we want to open this back up again. But not too much. We want to leave a little bit down there. So get your flat nose pliers down as far as they will go. There we go. Without forcing that bottom bit open. Just gently squeeze them open there. Maybe even place your pliers on like that and open them up. So we're looking to leave a little bit of a, I suppose you could call it a nose, a tip. And this is the bit that's going to go down into the point of the sword. If you wanted to, you could get your file on this and file this down. Make it a bit of a point. I did on some of the others, but I've decided not to do that for this tutorial because it's a bit tricky and it makes it very weak at the end here as well. So I wanted to make this more of a strong tutorial for everybody to follow. But I do recommend that if you're feeling confident and you're brave enough, file this down to a point. And yeah, but be careful. Like I said, it's very weak there and you might break it as well. So yeah, grab your twisted wire. Once you've kind of got that shape, get your twisted wire, just hold it in place, roughly where it's going to be. And I might even open that up a little bit more. And then with fingers and thumb, just hold it in place, very tip, and then just bend the wires in, just gently. Bring them in with your finger and thumb. Now, when you go to weave this all together like this, this will all come in. See, there we go. That's the shape you're looking to make. See that? Not bad. So don't worry if they pop back open. When we do the weave, that will put it back in again. Right. Place that to one side and grab your ruler. And you want your 18 gauge, which is your 1 mil wire. Now, this is going to be the outside of the sword. So this is where you use a bit of sterling silver if you wanted to. And also, just, look in the bottom of your box. We don't need much. So we're going to cut this down to 22 centimeters. This is a little bit more than you actually need. But I feel that just in case, you can take away, but you can't add. So, and again, taking your marker pen, mark the center of that wire. Right. Before we move on, let me just quickly show you the shape you're about to make. It's always handy to have a look at it first. This is what we're about to do. We're going to create this shape first, and we're going to create some handles. Oh, it's quite simple, really, but there's a fair bit of hammering involved. So that's what we're about to do. Grabbing your flat nose pliers, and again, starting from that center mark, grabbing the tip, create your point. And then keeping your flat nose pliers where they are. Oh, let me refocus that a minute. There we go. Sorry, better focus there. There we go. I'm just going to turn one side in like so. Swap it over to the other side, keeping down, making sure my pliers are dead in that point, and then just turn that side in. Now, doesn't matter if the inside, they try and cross. What you're looking to do is create a nice shape down there. Prioritize that point first. We can work the rest of the wire. So yeah, it doesn't matter if they come across in up here. That's what we're looking to do. Now, I'm pretty pleased with that one. Grab your ruler and your marker pen. Now, we're looking to measure from that bend that you made there, and you only want to measure down 3.5 centimeters from that point. Just bent there. 3.5. Try not to go too further. That's how far you're going to want to hammer. If you go a bit too far, this twisted wire we got won't go from the top to the bottom. It might finish a little bit earlier on. So yeah, mark down 3.5 centimeters. Grab your block and your hammer and start hammering up to that line that you've made, or that mark. Oh, just remember, turn it over and make the mark on the other side as well, because you're going to need to turn this back up over. And yeah, hammer until you're happy with it and take it as flat as you want it. And do remember, as you're hammering, this is all going to want to bend out of shape a little bit. This might want to bend that way. That might want to bend that way. This is where you're going to need to get the rubber hammer out, stop, get the rubber hammer out, straighten it back out again. But yeah, hammer as much as you want and take it as flat as you want. I'm going to take it until I get a nice flash. There you go, happy with that. Not too bad. Really pleased. We've got a nice flash and relatively even all the way down the sides. Bit tricky hammering. Even I'm still getting my head around it and getting to grips with it. Right, grab your flat nose pliers, and at these points here that you marked, that's where we want to turn them in. We're going to make I suppose we call it the guard. I think that's what it's called. Now, careful, it depends how much you've hammered. It might be a little bit tough to do. Like so. Same again on the other side. Make sure you get them even. Excellent. Now, keeping with your flat nose pliers, but I'm going to change a pair. Let me just show you something. Now, I'm going to go over to this set of flat nose. Now, by reason being why, because obviously you can see they're wider. That's all it is. You can see the difference in the size here. These are my Tronics. This is what I will use daily. This is a cheap spare pair of Beadsmith. That's all it is. And I collect flat nose pliers. I've done a video on them as well. Why I like to collect those flat nose pliers, and you're now about to find out why I like to collect flat nose pliers. Right, put my normal ones aside, and I'm going to use these. Now, the only reason I'm using these is purely for that reason. They're a measurement. They're bigger than my other ones. That's it. That's why I keep them around. So, and for doing this, bending round all the way, nice and tight, all the way over. This is exactly how I make my prongs as well. So you get a bit of a, yeah. So when I'm doing my prong pendants, this is exactly how I make them. There you go. That's why I collect different flat nose pliers, because it makes different lengths and shapes when doing that. That's the main reason. It's silly, isn't it? But that's why. And it's just different prong sizes. It now comes in handy for creating the guard on this sword. There we go. Bend it all the way over till you created that shape there. Now, I'm going to pop back to my other pliers. My daily pliers, daily flat nose. And I'm going to tighten those up a little bit. Now, I'm not going to try and tighten them up right at the end. Reason being is we're about to hammer this, and we want that be a little bit wider. Sorry, there's the focus there. We want that to be a little bit wider. So when we hammer it, it spreads a little bit. And when we wrap down here, the wraps won't come off that end. So yeah, you're just looking to leave, see, there we go, just a little bit of a hole, a little bit wider. We'll do the same again on the other side. Cool, there we go. Just try and get them even, best you possibly can. Back those pliers in again, and now we're going to turn these wires back up so they become in line with here again. And they're going to be create the handles later on. Don't worry, we're going to refashion them a bit later. Close that, that looks good. Same again the other side. There we go. Not too bad. There we go. Pretty happy with that. There we go. Our sword is coming together. Right. Grab the block. Let's hammer the very tips of these. Now, careful. As you see, they're going to open up again. So you want to get your pliers back in there and reshape them. Like I say, get them nice and tight and closed up next to the sword here and keep them, oops, there we go. Keep them a little bit wider at the top there. Excellent. Now, grab your other pieces of wire. Now it's the time to sit there and check everything is the right size. And we're not quite, so we want that to sit somewhere like that. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking to do. So this needs to come in just a little bit. So spend that minute or two with all your bits of wire. Sit there. Make sure everything's sitting just to the outside. Sorry, back in focus there. Terrible. Right. Have a word with this new cameraman. Or you. Sort it out. Anyway, yeah. Reshape everything so everything sits just to the outside. To be honest, it's pretty much there. I'm just going to tighten up these corners down here. There we go. I'm pretty pleased with that. That's come out all right now. I've got to shape that. There we go. You can see. Got its nice shape. That sits inside. And that sits inside too. So that's roughly whereabouts everything's going to start. Right. There we go. Our components are made. Time. Oh, sorry. There you go. There's the focus. Time to grab our weaving wire and let's get weaving. Sketchbook time. Right, before we move on, I just want to draw you the figure of 8 pattern. Now, I know I've done this quite a lot over the last few videos, but I'm going to go over it again for the people who have found themselves on this video for the first time. So I want you to imagine we're looking down our wire here. This is the wire we're going to weave between. This is the outside hammered wire, and this is the twisted hammered wire there. So when you start weaving, now let me just draw the figure of 8 weave, the standard figure of 8 weave. Okay, you go around once, you come around the second time, you cross over. Go around once, come around the second time, cross over. There you go. That's the standard figure of 8. You can see the 8 there. So that's what we're about to do here. But what we want to do at the same time as going through this pattern is we want to bind these wires in at the same time. At some point, we're going to work that pattern out as we go along. That's up to you. Once you see me getting started, you'll understand a little bit better. But what we want to do is, as we're doing the figure of 8, we want to come out, go around these and bind them in. So how to do that? So the first thing I would suggest is the most important thing is that when you start your weave, you start wrapping the right way. So when you start, you're going to go around main wire and you're going to come that direction. The reason being you start that direction is at some point, after so many weaves, you're going to want to join this in, this center wire here. And to join that center wire in, you need to be traveling around, you'll need to be wrapping around your wire a certain direction. So you need to go around this way, because as you come around here twice, you're going to come up to join this wire in, over the top of it, like so, down the other side, and round the other one, doing the once and coming round the second time. Now, what you'll find is when you get over to the other side, as if I bring it round here like this, you notice you're now wrapping the opposite direction to what you're doing here. So once you've gone round once and you've come round the second time, cut straight across underneath that one. And what else that will do is that will obviously bring you back into the right direction, wrapping around this side, they're ready to come back over it again. But what it will do is it will create something for it to sit on. So it's up to you if you want it protruding above your weave or if you want it to sit in the middle of the weave. That doesn't matter. But if you want it protruding above your weave, you're obviously looking to pull that tight straight across. So yeah, that's what you're doing. So as you come across, you go around once, come around the second time, back up and over, round once, round twice, cut across, back around to that side. So you don't have to go over this every single time. I'll get to that as well. Right. Outside wires. So at the same time as doing that, just to confuse you a little bit more here, at the same time as you're doing that, you want to join these outside hammered wires that we've got. So it's the same thing. It's just a weave. So let's say you've come across to this side. You've joined that top one in. So you've come down here, gone round the once, and then you're going to just come out. And then back in. Just once or twice. It's up to you how many times you go round that one. I'm probably going to go round twice. But that's all it is. You just come out once and then back into the weave as well. Now, what you want to make sure is that you haven't gone round twice, then come back out, because otherwise you'll come back in and go round 3 times. So it's sort of like mid-weave. So go round once, come round the second time, out to the outside, and back in again. And it's the same with this side as well. So go round once, come round the second time, out to that one and back in again, or around that twice, up to you. But that's all it is. It's just utilizing that figure of 8. And when we do that, it's kind of up to you as well. Right then, shall I get started? And then it's a lot easier to show you in practice, isn't it? Right, slight design change. I've decided to go with some fine silver for wrapping and weaving instead. Just fancy that. It looks quite good and it'll bring a nice contrast to everything. But before we move on, again, I just want to show you this. I just want to go over what we are about to do. So we're going to start down here. Now, this is where you're going to want to get your swearing jar out. This is where it's going to be a little tricky. We're going to want to weave a bit, and then we're going to bind this wire in 3 times. I'm going to go for 3 anyway. And then we're going to weave up a little bit, and then we're going to want to bring the wire in and start coming into this wire here. But this first little bit here, it's going to be tricky. Once you get into here, trust me, it's all going to hold in place, but this is going to want to slide out. Going to want to keep moving. So my best tip here is going to be hold tight with finger and thumb. And let's do the best you possibly can. I'm going to do the best I can with filming it because I know it's going to be a little bit tricky with my fingers and thumbs in the way. But like I said, once you get it going, especially the twisted wire as well. Once you get to the twisted wire and start binding that, once you get to about here, everything really does start holding itself really into place as well. So another thing to consider here, just quickly looking at this, is where to bind the twisted wire in. You can see here, I went where the wire crosses every single time. You can go every other time. That's up to you. And the same with the outside. When you join that in, that's up to you. I say just choose a point, take that measurement, and then repeat it there and there and there. Use your ruler. You can count the wraps if you want to, but really, you probably lose count at some point. So I recommend getting the ruler out, place the first one in, measure that gap, and then just repeat that. But one thing you want to do, let me just turn this over. As we're coming up to the top here, we're going to want to be joining in right by that point there. No matter what, we always want to join there. Right, grab that wrapping wire and let's get weaving. Right, for this first sword, I'm going to start with the outside first, weaving down at the front. Grab your weaving wire, But I'm going to bit of fine silver now. I'm going to leave myself a little bit of a tail, a couple of inches, not much at all. And I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to weave up probably up until just before the bend there. So if I bring this in, looking to, I showed you on the practice piece, be able to bind this tip in here a couple of times. But we need to get to it first. So looking there, I'll probably get to about just before the bend and then be able to bind it in. Well, add some weaves in. Now, I know I showed you in the most sketchbook how to do this, and it's quite important about which way to start wrapping. Now, this one time only, I recommend you wrap the opposite direction. And I'd shown you in the sketch to come back over. The reason being is a good little tip, just something that might help you out. Let me get that. Just get there in a minute and I'll show you walking. Easier to show you than it is to describe. Nearly there. There we go, perfect. I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop there. And I've stopped on the opposite side I started to make sure I've got an even amount of wraps. Now, like I said earlier on in the sketchbook, I showed you how to do this weave, which direction to be wrapping to make sure you come up and over something to join in. Now, I've purposely gone the opposite direction. Right, now, only for this. This reason being is because we're about to join something in. It's going to get very fiddly down here. Now, what I've learned over years of doing stuff, when you're in a fiddly situation, just stop the weave and come straight across. Where's the focus? Where's the focus? Come on, cameraman, sort it out. There we go. Just going to come straight across instead of cutting over. And then what that does, I'm just going to put the wraps in. One, it brings me around ready to come up over it, but what it's done, given me a bit of a base to sit on. That's all it's done. It's given me that straight line. Be a bit better there without the shine to sit on. So now I can come back over the top, start binding that in. Ready. Stop. Now, don't let go. I admit, it's going to be a tricky bit now. Use your tweezers. Get them in there. Now, this might want to fall out. If it does fall out, and if you're careful, you can put it back in. Don't worry. But time now. B. Again, I'm going to come straight across underneath. So you can see it starting to bind. Come straight across underneath, and I'm going to go. Oh, there we go. Round once, round twice, and then I'm going to go back over it again. Do this 3 times. Oh, see, it's going to come out. Again, use your tweezers. You haven't got your other hand. Get in there. And once you get in, here you go. Don't worry. Oh, you see it's wanting to fall out again. Oh, there we go. It's falling out. Right. Go back in again. There we go. Back in. Thumb. Hold it into place, and I'm cutting straight across again this time. I'm really selling this tutorial, aren't I? How tricky this is. Don't worry, sword number 2 is a little bit easier to start off. If this one looks a little bit fiddly, skip to sword number 2. And you might find that one a little easier. Only a little. So don't do this bit at the start. But I like this bit at the start. It's a great little bit. That looks great once it's patinaed and polished. I'm going to add 1, 2. I'm going to add one more weave. Crossing over to the other side. Now just a normal weave in. Now I've binded that center one in. But yeah, I think so. Am I ready to cut in? You can see me making decisions. Now, I'm going to cut one in. Now, I'm going to start weaving between... Oh, let's focus these two wires here now. And in a second, I'll get the twisted wire out. See where we're at. Now, be careful now. It shouldn't fall out. It should be good. But what you are looking to do, have it slightly protruding above the weave. Sorry. See? All right. A bit scrappy. Get neater. Anyhow, right. I'll get back into the... Got a hyperspeed going. Stop when I'm ready to join the piece of twisted wire in. I'm going to stop there for a moment. I think I'm going to start binding the outsiding. It's very close to binding this in. So look, I'm going to join the twisted wire. Up that place. Fingers and thumbs at the moment. Very close to it. I'm about a weave or two away from wanting to join that twisted wire in, as you can see. Oh, there we go. Sorry, there's the focus. About a weave or two away. So I'm going to bind the outside wires in now, and then I should be in the right position to now bring the twisted wire in, and again, binding it exactly the same way. And as I showed you in the sketchbook. So I'm going to come to the outside wire. I'm going to go around twice. Around once. Sorry, I just got to make sure I did the right amount of weaves first, didn't I? I did, even went against my own things. Yeah. Oh yeah, I was the right amount. Round once. This is where you got to be careful with sterling silver, especially sterling fine silver. I've unwrapped some. If I'm going to break any wire, I'm about to do it. Round once. Second time. I'm back into. There you can see that point. Back into the weave, go over to the other side. Same thing. And then, hopefully, I might be in line with my twisted wire. I'll join the twisted wire once, twice. Just going to stop there. Now it's starting to really hold itself into position in place. It really is. It's not wanting to all fall apart on you. A lot easier to hold on to. I'm just going to place this down. And I think, looking at that, I'm going to add another weave in. Back and forwards, and then I'll join this in. And also, I've noticed I am actually wrapping the wrong way around the wire. So I'm going to have to, again, change direction. Be able to come over the top of the twisted wire. Again, I'm going to have to cut straight across. Again, it's going to get fingers and thumbs. Join this in a couple of times. It gets really easy. There, you can just see that. Hold my thumb there. Come over the top of it. Coming over the top. And once. And the second time. And cut straight across to the other side. Tweezers. Again, get them in. And now back into the weave. Now I'm going to weave up until next time to join it in. There. It's not going anywhere, so I can let go a little bit now. Now, how many times do I join in on the outside? Like I said earlier, I might actually go a little bit further. It's about there. Maybe 1, 2, 3 joins, maybe up around here, measure that distance, and then I will carry that on up. Right then, I'm going to weave up until the next mark, and then I'll show you me joining it in again. Now ready, come back over, twist the wire. And over to the side, round once, round twice. Round twice. Tweezers in there. Up, and then cut straight across and to the other side. Sometimes I hate looking at my work on this close up on the camera because sometimes wrapping and weaving, you know, it can sometimes you look at it and think, oh, that looks great, and then you put it close up on a camera and you think, you know what, it doesn't look as neat as I want it to be. But hey, I think it'll be all right. There we go. Do that. Now, I've got to this stage now, this is becoming a really easy to hold on to now. It's not falling apart or anything. So I'm going to carry on now, weave up to the next point. I'm joining in here. And at the same time then, I think I'll come back out and I'll join to the outside wires again. Right, back on and get it done. I'm going to stop there. I've decided to come in and I've joined the outside. So the pattern I've decided to go for 1, 2, to that distance there. So I could measure this if I want to be really precise, or my guessing I can do it by every time I cross here. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and on that one there I'll be joining the outside wires. I could follow that pattern, or I could measure it. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's looking good. Now it's all holding together very easily, not falling apart. Another tip for me is work from the back while you're doing it as well. It's a lot easier to work from the back. You can see there. Right, I'm going to plow on now till I get to the end there. And then we'll come back and I shall show you how to do the handles. Now I've weaved up till I'm nearly, actually I might go one more weave. I want to be in line, centre, that bend there. Oh, a hand guard. There's the better. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think I'm just going to cut across one more time. There we go. I'm happy. I'm now in line with the centre of a hand guard. Now, what I'm going to do, again, a little bit of fingers and thumbs moment. Yeah, so again, bring it right across the centre. I'm going to hold with my thumb. I hold it nice and tight in there. Now I'm going to take my pliers, chain nose or flat nose, it doesn't matter. No matter which direction you turn this, but I'm just going to turn it up, get a right angle. I'm going to use my flat nose. See? Okay. There we go. Well then, turned it up, so I've got a bit of a right angle on it. I'm going to keep my thumb in there. I'm now going to wrap round, heading down towards the sword. Now, take your time. First couple in. Turn it over. Make sure it's nice and neat. Fingernail in there. Tighten it up. Just wrap all the way down. Reach. End. Nice and tight as possible. No overlapping. Brilliant. Right. You could cut straight across. It's all going to look a little bit messy. Where's the focus? Sorry. There's the focus. You could cut straight across. We're going to look a bit messy. I'm going to come up and wrap round outside wire here. Once or twice. Tighten up. That's all. So from the front, you don't really see. Oh, where is the focus today? There it is. So from the front, you don't. Nice and neat. I'll do the same again. The other. Jump back in. I'll come back into the weaving. Round the once. Should be. Yep, I'm in line. My flat nose, just that right angle in. You can see there. And again, I'm going to wrap down towards sword. This is why we hammer the ends there. It's to get those nice and wide so when this wrap doesn't slide off. Again, like I said, mirror wrap I did the other side. Good. Looking good. So be careful with this bit here when you're cutting back and forwards with this wire that you don't make a mess. Just try and do it as neat as possible once or twice. Because as you can see from the front, it can sometimes be seen. Now, hopefully, once we get to the stage of patinaing and polishing, you're not going to see these bits here. It's only because I've got a black background. Right. You see them. Hopefully, they will disappear. Right. What we're looking to do next, take these two outside wires, turn them in. They're going to make the handle. So getting your flat nose pliers up next to your last, just turn it in a little bit. Not much. Just going to go the other side. Take that, got a 0.8, that one wire there. Just spray it to one's out the way, but I don't want to get a bend down there. I don't want to kink it really down there. Do perfect. So let me go with the other side. Get in there on that 1mm wire. Tight up against your wrap. Turn it on in until they cross. You see them crossing in the center. Is there. Again with that back wire, just gently get it out of the way. Even just gently lift it forwards a little bit. Just make sure it's properly out. Now, what you want to do here is just again tighten up those turns. You're looking to basically now turn this and bring this handle, create the handle, bring this in line so easier. Okay. Hold this, look at this, or doing this, and still get it on camera at the same time. So there we go. See the cross. Brilliant. Do it from this side because I can see it from here. I'm just going to come down, not far, by a few mil, turn it back up so it's parallel with the twisted and same the other side. Hey, chuff. There you go. They're now parallel. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to carry on the weave down here. Same time again, joining in along the way, and I'm going to finish here. I'm going to put these to one side. We will turn those into some loops at the end. But yeah, that's what you need to do now. Carry on and finish your weave just at the end of your twisted wire. Just somewhere at the end there. Just before it. Right. Back into super fast mode. Let's get this finished. There we go. Pretty pleased with that. And you can see where I've stopped. Just past wire. Only just. In fact, if I budge these weaves down, just moved up, I'm lying there. Yeah, pretty pleased with that. That's happened. That's come out all right. As you know, it gets a lot easier once you get past that tricky bit at the start. It gets a lot easier to do. It really does. Let's have a look at the back here as well. A little bit out here. It was a little bit annoying. But you know what? I think we can cover that a little bit better up. Random pieces of here as well. So not too worried about it. But yeah, it went okay. Again, like just remember that you have to join it in up close to the there. Right. Round to the front. So time we can now actually trim some wire off. So just trim, leaving yourself about 15 centimeters. Not much. Now, grab your ruler and your flush cutters. And now what we were looking to do is we're looking to trim that wire there, that bit of 20 gauge, 0.8. We just want to trim it down to about 8 centimeter. I'm going to go with 8 mil. Grab your chain nose. And then, just with the tip of it, grab the tip of the 0.8 and just gently bring it round. You could have left this longer and turned it into a spiral. That's up to you. I'm just looking to get a bit of a bend on it. Make it more of a circle. Bring it round so the end tucks. Like so. Now, repeat the same the other side and try and get two exactly the same. Don't you just love symmetry? I do. I love the challenge of symmetry. I really do. I love it when it goes really well. But often it goes wrong. Sometimes you just have to face the consequences. Not going to be perfect. Oh, that's need polishing out now. I've pinched the wire. Damn. Oh well. These things happen. Oh, I can feel it. Let's get that. Yeah, careful with your pliers. Try not to pinch the wire. can see what's happened here. Just about a little pinch in the wire there. And it's... Oh well. Pretty happy with those. Look relatively even. I'm going to just sit here and adjust them so I'm happy. Not too bad. Pretty good. Pretty pleased. Now thinking about it, maybe centimetre. No, they look fine. I'm happy with them. They look cool. Once polished, you're going to read. I'm going to just push them in. Bring them up a little bit. That's a bit better. What's that? That's a bit better. Yeah. Cool. Right. Top bit. What we're going to do now, we're going to bring one side down to the other side. When you're folding, make sure we want a little bit of a gap here. We're going to want to be able to post wire through. So each side, down the other side, like so. Yeah. Okay. What you're aiming to do. Then this is where you're going to either use your round nose pliers or a pair of bell pliers. Go around the... So I'm going to go around the 3mm. So try and keep it... I find this bit a little bit tricky. So what we're going to do here, on camera here, we're going to take one side, bend around, bell pliers, and come back out the way we came. Have your flat nose ready? Be able to sit there, just. And do the same again the other side. Bring this up because go underneath. And make sure it's nice and tight. And also make sure it's central. Just sit there for that minute. There we go. I'm happy with that. And then you want your wires coming out to the sides. That's what we're going to turn into the pommel. No, I think I'm all right. Was this the pommel? Someone will tell me in the comments. I'm sure that. Right, before we go any further, let's get rid of our ends here. So what we're looking to do with this, and this is to help hold this together a little bit easier at the top here, that we're going to post it through. We're going to wrap round 2 or 3 times. Here we go. Come on. All in the world to post through. Get it through. But also what it will do is, as you can see down the side here, this is slightly open. It's going to help bring these together. In fact, before you go any further, I'm just going to take that out for a quick second. Just going to gently get my flat nose. Help bring that in together a little bit tighter. Gently, not much. You don't want to misshapen your circle. That's a bit better. Now again, like I said, taking your spare wire, posting it through out to the back. And this is why you leave a little bit of a gap at the top here. I'm going to come back down through on above the weave. Back out the other side. Nice tight wrap. Come round again. Post it back through the weave, top of the weave again. I'm coming out the front. Now I'm going to come around the 3rd time, so I've got 3 wraps from the front. Sticks in with my numbers. I love number 3. Odd numbers. You go around again to do. No rule saying. What about looking just neat more than anything? Be happy with that. Now, if I turn it on the side here again, you can see you got some holes down here. See that? Just enough to be able to get wire through once or twice. So you're looking to wrap round. Nice and neat. Go down that. See. Basically come back round on it. You need to do this. So it's nice and neat, nice and tight, nothing sticking out. Come back round on yourself. Maybe once, maybe twice at the most. That's it. And then that's tying the wire off. Come round again. See that? Angle side. There we go. All tight. Thing over. And now, making sure you cut the right one. Finger in. Can't feel anything. There with the tweezers. Now, you might notice this as while I was doing all of this end has snapped off. Anyway, now this is the end I would just say, just trim in so your end is just coming out, just on the inside of here. Just on the inside. Maybe just gently coming over there. Just purely, yeah, that's the tricky one to do. Or you could come back and wrap around a weave, but the problem is with that, you're going to see it. It's not going to look so good. But yeah, I have yet to have any come undone. But yeah, as you can see, while I was doing, there it is. It broke off. Right, top bit. This one's a bit more simple now. So grabbing your ruler again. And your cutters. And we're just going to trim each piece of wire down to 6 mil. And you see where I'm measuring? Just as it leaves the circle. Middle again. Grab your chain nose. And all you can do is grab the tip of the wire and bend it round. Not all the way, halfway. Might need to lean into your fingernail here. Bit of a tricky spot. That's all you're looking to do. Just like that. And then with your flat nose, close it up. Give it a little twist, and then that gives you pommel shape. So, do the same again the other side. Again, like I say, you might want to lean. You're going to need to lean into something as you do this. You don't put anything out of shape. Flat nose. A little bit of a squeeze and roll trick, and bring it in. And also, that just gives it that little bit of a bend. Yeah. And just sit there for a second, just adjusting everything. Make sure it's nice. In fact, even get your bell pliers back out. Make sure circles. Good. There we go. Pleased with that. Not bad at all. Now, I'd stick a jump ring in it. Top. Before polishing. Move on. Yeah, it didn't turn out too bad. That's not turned out too bad. Very pleased with that one. It's okay. It's okay. I'm always very critical of my work. I can always see a few issues slightly on the handle there, just at the top. But you know what? I think most people will anticipate something. Right, that's cool. That's excellent. Right then, let's move on and let's. Oh, where's the focus? Let's move on and let's go and do number 2. Right, second sword. Right, this sword starts life exactly the same as the one we just made. Here you go. Here's an example of what we're up to. The difference is, there's not much difference. The measurements are exactly the same. So the outside 1mm wire we hammered, cut to 22. If you're using copper. Now, if you're using sterling silver, down to 20 centimetres. I did with this one, just to save, because I went and measured the wire we had left over from here. I realised how much I could save. So I cut that to 20 centimetres. I'm using sterling silver. The next core wire, again, cut to 14 centimetres. Cut in half. Not cut in half. Bent in half. But this time, instead of just leaving it round like that and then closing the gap up, I sat there and I got the files out and I filed and played around with it until I got a nice point that I'm really happy with. And this is the one thing that's slightly different, as you can see here, the example right here, is that I'm going to use a bit of half round wire, go in the center instead of twisted wire. Now you can use twisted wire. You can use whatever wire you want, but go for something that's thick, something that's going to stand out, something that's going to protrude, and something that's going to really catch the light when polished as well. But as you notice, the other thing that is the difference between this one, is the length basically. So I've cut it to 45mm, 4.5 centimetres. That's it. So whenever you're making this style of sword here, this is the one I'm about to do. Whenever you're doing this instead of this one, I'm aiming to finish this here so I can change the handle. For me, that's why I did this, because to me this makes it more like a handle. That's the blade, that's the handle. That's why I decided that with this design. This is slightly different. It just means, runs a lot down. It doesn't matter. All looks good. But yeah, just me trying to make proper swords. So if you want to do this design, just make sure that whatever you use to run down the center, about 45mm, and you're trimming it so it finishes about 1mm just past the guard here. That's it. And also the bonus, this starting of this is a lot easier. Now, we're not going to start down here. We're not going to do any weaving down here. We're going to start our weaving on this central one here, as you can see here. And then we're joining the outside, and then we're joining the center one. But all I'm going to encourage you to do here is to try and not join that center one that many times. As you see here, I did 3, massive gap. In the middle, 3, massive gap. That measurement, measured that so they were roughly the same. And again, you're still going to expect to join it right at the top here, right in the middle, where the guard is as well. So yeah, that's what we're about to do. So exactly the same as this, no different on the weaving and wrapping, exactly the same pattern. Difference is we're going to weave, we're going to start here, and then when we get to the handle, that's when things change here from here. But yeah, I will show you when we get there. Right, let's grab that weaving wire. Let's get started. Grab your wrapping wire or weaving wire. Like I said, we're going to start with the inside core wire this time. Going to make life a lot easier. Don't have to fingers and thumbs at the start. So again, we're going to want to put a few weaves in first, just enough, and then we're going to want to try and bind that outside wire in. So probably round about the bend. That's the point I'm going to do. So it's probably, let's get a few weaves in, see where we're at. Yeah, I'm happy as far as I've gone. In fact, I've gone a little bit too far. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm okay. I'm happy with that. I'm now going to join this in once. Then I'll bring this in and see where I'm at. Excellent. Now, I'm pretty cool. I'm going to start binding that center one in now. And like I said, I can get the example for you. Oh, focus, focus. There we go. There's the focus. You can see how I did it 3 times. 1, 2. Oh, same with that one. But again, looking at this, and deciding where to do the outside. Yeah, start with 3, then I'll do 3 in the middle, 3 again. As you notice, it's a lot easier. Get this one started. And the other one, it really is. I'm just going to cut across to the other side. And now I've noticed as well, I'm now wrapping the wrong way. So again, I'm going to cut straight across. Now, like I said, this will help get that half round wire to sit up and above, just above the. See, cut straight across. Get the half round in now. Now again, this is where it comes this will be a bit fingers and thumbs, I know, but once you've got it joined in 3 times, it'll stay there for a bit, but it will want to slide out. I'll get to that in a minute. First join in. Just do the best you possibly can. It's typical lonely soldier. Don't make anything easy. I always make it fiddly. The problem with weaving. It's fiddly. That's why I like it. Excellent. Again, I'll straight underneath. Ready to bring that back round over the top again. Notice I stop. Get my tweezers in. Fudge those wraps down. So I'm happy with everything. You were going to push this past. All right, I can move it back. On my feet. Move it back into position. Okay, 3 times. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. That's all staying there. Quite easy. So, right, going to carry on weaving. I'll join the outside wire in at some point. Get in the last one. And then when I get to the center, roughly the center of this, about the middle here, I'll join it back in. Right, go into hyperactive mode. Get to here real quick. Right then. Now, going to join the outside in. Go on. To go every centimetre. So I'm measuring up. Last wrap. Here we go. Cut across the other side. And now you, while you're doing this, you're going to see this does move. It fell out on me. I had to put it back in again. Now, it will do that until we get to the end here. And then there's a way we can stop it sliding. And also, as you bind it in more, especially make sure bind it in tight, it will then stop sliding. For the moment, it's going to want to do that and see. Just the nature of it. But towards the end, we'll get that sorted and it won't. And it'll stop doing that. Don't worry. Right, I'm going to start joining the outside wires in now. Like I say, finish on some super high speed, get to the end. I've stopped. I'm just shy of the end rounded wire. There. So what we did in the last one is we took this core wire here. There's the focus. There's the focus. These core wire here, brought them out to the side, and then we brought these. So we're going to still bring these ones in, but this time we're going to use these ones as part of the handle. So we're going to need to get our flat nose. Just grabbing, again, just turn it in. Not that. Do the same with the other one from the other side. Probably get away with fingers. There we go. So now what you're looking to do, now turn these back up so they're nice and parallel and they sit next to each other. The best you possibly can. Bad. Right. There we go. That's what I'm aiming to do. Grab your ruler and your flash cutters. Just grab a marker pen. Now we want to measure down. How far you measure down is kind of up to you, really. You don't want to go any more than a centimetre. Because I want to measure down from the handle a centimetre. That's from the handle, sorry, the guard. I'm going to measure down from the middle of the guard. That big enough for a handle? Yeah, I think. Grab your flash cutters and now trim off that excess wire. You might need to move this just slightly out of the way. A nice flash straight across. Make sure you get both wires are both the same length. Make sure there's no angle and you get them nice and straight. Things everywhere. Now, grab your file. File your ends. Once you've filed your ends and you're happy, grabbing your flat nose again, we're going to want to bring these two wires now parallel to just like that. Now, again, like we did first sword, we're going to carry on the weave all the way up here. But when I get to this part here, I'm going to join in every single time and finish at the top there. There we go. Right. Carry on weaving, and that point. There we go. I'm going to stop that. I've actually weaved past where I cut the wire off a little bit because I actually think I cut it off a bit too short. I should have added another 2 or 3 mil, made the handle a little bit longer. That's all right. I'm reasonably happy. Again, trimmed off, just leaving myself about 10 to 15 centimeters there. And I'm going to finish it off exactly the same as the last one. So just going to see what I do here. I get the wire, pull my wire tight down there, and that helps to pull the weave down, so it stops the weave from moving. So I'm just going to get my chain. I'm going to use flat nose. Sorry. Again, just looking across them over. This last time, and with just enough gap there still to be able to get the wire down through. And again, using bell pliers, bend round them and create the loop. Okay, pretty happy with that. That's bad. And again, taking your wrapping wire, wrap around that 2 or 3 times. Help hold together. You can go around more than 3 times if you wish to. Just make sure it looks neat. Don't let it overlap each other. That's all. And again, for that hole and the side. Okay, you can see that. Basically, you're coming back round yourself on the wrap. And if you can go around twice, that's great. And just trim off. That's not going to come undone. About getting a pair of tweezers in there, pulling it apart. That's not, if I can get it back round again. Got there in the end. That was snapping, making sure. Wait. I can't feel anything. Perfect. Perfect. Again, taking these ends, bring them down to about 8 mil. I'm going to take them to 9, just that little bit more. That extra centimetre won't hurt. Side. See that wastage now is actually a tiny little bit like that. Worth making stuff in copper first, writing everything down, find out what you leave, and then come back to your sterling. You waste anything at all. Right, again, over to the chain nose. Just, again, so this is sterling, so this is a lot tougher than silver. I mean, it's copper. There we go. I'm out right. Pretty pleased with that. I wish the handle was a little bit longer, but hey, still looks a bit of a broadsword. Right, I'm going to go make a jump ring, pop a jump ring in here, same as the other one, and time to get the liver of sulphur out, and yeah, let's get polishing. There we go, people. All done and polished and patinaed. Yeah, come out all right. Quite pleased with it as well. Got a few gripes with it. If I was to look at these and really critique my work, is in down the sides of the flattened wire here. I wish I'd got my file out and I'd filed it down. Some of these things you don't see. Lessons learned. Next time I do this one, if I take the wire that flat and that wide, I'm going to get my big file out and I'm going to file those edges down there and just get them in a bit more shape. But generally, pretty pleased with it. And I have a gripe with this one as well. Again, I'm annoyed with myself over the handle. A little bit too wide and a little bit too short. Still looks good though. But you know what? Next time you do it, or next time I do it, make sure that handle is a little bit longer and a little bit thinner. But otherwise, generally pleased with it as well. And I want to show you this here. So you might notice one. This is the copper one wrapped with fine silver. The first sword we make. Now, you can't see the copper because I've decided to polish the patina, keep it that nice gunmetal. I just thought it looked really good, do something a bit different with it. And how I did that is I dry tumbled it 10 to 15 minutes with a very, very fine shot. I've got really fine shot with bits of glass in as well for polishing and perfect for dry tumbling. You can use rice. Rice would be another one as well, but you don't need to tumble it for too long. And you're just looking for it to start to polish that patina and then take it out. And then I'd use with my sandpapers very carefully. I removed as much patina as I could from the fine silver to bring that back up again. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. So it's given me an idea. So because of just the polishing and using the tumbler, I think I need to come up with a project now where it's all about patina and that we're going to be polishing patina. But yeah, leave it with me. We'll come up with. But there we go. Very pleased with them. They're not too bad. That one will probably go into the seconds pile. But you know what? I'm still happy with it. Nice one. Excellent. Brilliant. Please like and subscribe. I don't say it enough, and I've been told to say it more often. There you go. Please like and subscribe. There you go. A very lonely soldier sword. It's taken some time till I came up with that idea. I feel I've now hit my stride with swords and I'm ready to move down that path with them. So this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning of the designs. I know there's more to come. I've got a few more stuck up in the head there. In fact, I got a really cool, very complicated weave pendant idea came out of it as well to do it, probably be a little bit bigger. I might even turn it into a tutorial, like a Patreon only tutorial. But yeah, that involves adding crystals and stones and a lot more weaving. But yeah, it came out from, again, making that sword. It's a great example when you're doing wire work. You can make one thing and another idea comes out of it. So the sword came out of making the cuff. I was making the cuff. And I saw the sword. I was like, that's it. I'm just making a sword. And so that's where the sword came out of it, really. And the same with doing the sword. So I started doing the sword. And then as I was making it, I'm down the path of, wow, I could take this down this road. Oh, I could do this. I could do that. I could add on to the sides. I could maybe bring some crystals in, some beads. And so, yeah, my brain started to run right with it. And started designing as I'm going along. So yeah, that will be coming as well. So like I said, this is not the end of Lonely Soldier making swords. And I reckon there'll be a soldered one in the future as well, because I've got all the soldering kit over there. I've just not brought it out for you guys yet, because I know a lot of you beginners don't have all of that. And I'm doing my best to try and do stuff non-solder, so it becomes accessible for everybody. Nice one. That was really good fun showing you that. In fact, I had loads come out of it for me. So especially like the patina thing as well. That's something new. I'm going to start exploring that as well, because I don't know about you. It's the one thing about copper I hate the most is that once we've polished it, once we've done everything we've done to it as well, unless you treat it, it goes that horrible brown colour. And, I don't like it. And I'm sure lots of people, I think it's what puts a lot of people off copper jewellery. It really does, is that thing. So now there's a way to polish the patina and keep a nice gunmetal. So that brings a new technique in to the whole process of the jewelry making, doesn't it? So especially hybrid pieces, where you, like I just did there, where you can remove the patina from the sterling silver and have that nice and bright and shiny, but then the copper, keep it that gunmetal. That's going to look amazing. That's really, and it also will just bring in a total new dimension to all the jewelry as well. So I'm going to go away, think about this. How can I apply this to some really cool pendants? And don't worry, I'll come back with some designs for you guys to show you. Nice one, people. Well, it's been good fun showing you that. I've had a great time. I look forward to seeing you all back at the bench in a couple of weeks' time with another design. You take care of yourselves and see you soon. Bye-bye. Have fun. As usual, I'd like a massive thank you to everybody out there who helps to keep this channel going, especially everybody over at Patreon and Buy Me a Cup of Tea. Your help goes a long way. It really does. I have very special thanks to Yasmin Khan, Wendy Cheverton, Vivian Hussey, Scuba K2, Sandra Lane, Ruby, Roxanne Coyne, Natty Beeder, Nicola Kim, Matthew Smith, Carl Fry, Joyce, Jill, Jennifer Smith, Jamie Cresty, Jennifer Harworth, Jennifer Roosh, Elizabeth Polk, Deborah Ensor, and Amanda Ryan. Your help goes a long way in keeping this channel going. I thank you.